Welcome back.
Welcome to Recovery Unfiltered. I am Larry and I'm an alcoholic.
I am Rob. I am also an alcoholic. We are not professionals in any way, shape, or form. We have no letters after our name. You will at times hear the word God and a four-letter word in the same sentence. If you are easily offended, please just pass us by. This is not for you.
Sit back, relax, let us carry the load. We walk that dark and winding road. We're just two alcoholics with a lot to say. This is Recovery Unfiltered. You can stay a while today.
Welcome back to Recovery Unfiltered podcast. Rob and Larry are taking a couple weeks off. However, they will be back with a new show on July 8th. In the meantime, listen to some of these clips from previous episodes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You grew up.
So I grew up born in Manteca, California.
right.
My parents divorced when I was in 5th grade, I believe. So I was probably about 10 years old. We moved up to Valley Springs. Growing up, I went to a bunch of different schools, probably 7 different schools growing up. As my parents, I went back and forth with my parents. Grew up a lot around alcohol and drugs. That was just a normal way of life, you know. It was nothing different. Addiction was in my family.
Just with your parents, or was
Just everywhere. My
Right.
parents, my friends, wherever we went. You know, we went to someone's house. Parents said it was time to go outside.
Right.
We knew what was going on.
Right.
We went outside and did our thing. It wasn't.
You didn't know any different.
No, it wasn't like, hey, we need to call the cops on our parents or doing something bad. You know, it was just life. You know,
Yeah.
Dad said go get them a beer. You went and got them a beer. You didn't open it for them, or if you did, you didn't take a drink because you knew what was gonna happen. So it was just, I wouldn't say comfortable. It was just life. You know, going to people's house and there was weed and there was drugs, and that was just the normal for us. Growing up, I would say when I was about the end of 5th grade, I started smoking weed. You know, and I did that for a long time.
how'd it get introduced to you?
Well, let's go back a little bit. My brother's 5 years older than me, so when I was about the time I could walk and talk, you know, say about 1 year old, I automatically turned. So I was raised real fast. You know, I was always with my brother, always doing what he was doing.
Right.
You know, I matured real quick. I wouldn't say I was robbed of my childhood, but I didn't do all the young things that a child did. I started going fast, you know. If I wanted to ride bikes with my brother and his friends, I had to do what they did. And if I wanted to be in the club, they'd say, you got to ride down that hill. I didn't
Right.
question it. I just ride down the hill, you know.
Well, you don't
So
give a
they-
shit if you die.
They were smoking weed out of a can one day fishing. I smoked weed out of a can one day.
Right.
And then it kind of just, I smoked weed for a long time until, you know, my mid-20s. And there was a part of my life where do I want to make money or do I want to keep smoking weed? And that was a no-brainer for me.
Okay,
But-
now why the choice? What do you mean make money?
Just my job. It was just time to, that's when drug tests had started getting in play. And
Right.
I chose work over, you know, weed. I had big goals in life that I wanted to achieve, and that was just going to hold me back from doing that, you know. And then you know, being raised and seeing, you know, growing up in the trailer park, you know, my dad always had a great job, but we only had what we needed. We never had anything above that, you know. Everybody my dad worked with, you know, they had the fancy trucks, the nice house, you know, they had that life that I always wanted. But, you know, we didn't have that. So I knew that I didn't want to, you know, continue smoking weed or get into bigger things that was going to slow me down in life. But to this day, I still haven't done any powder accelerants. I haven't, you know, dabbled in any of that other stuff. So
Want some?
I'm fortunate that, you know.
Brad's not getting our jokes yet. Brad,
He knows.
did you even hear him?
No.
He said, "You want some?"
No. I just grew up around it, and I knew I seen what it did to people's lives, and I didn't, you know, I thought, well, I only smoke weed. It's not that bad, but you know, I wish I didn't smoke it as long as I did.
Well, someone finds out you don't drink, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, why don't you drink? You know, well, if you don't do meth, no one asks you why you don't do meth. Like, Like everybody says, oh, you got a problem. Yeah, I got a problem. But for me, I'm open. I'll fucking tell you. I'll tell my story. I don't have a problem with that. But is that what you're talking about? Like,
Well, it's kind of like I like being clear headed and and all these things, and having fun. Why do you drink?
Right.
To have all these things, you're enjoying all these things. You say I enjoy them sober.
I people ask me, why did you get, why all that on your arm? Why did you get your sobriety and your the A triangle? Why all that? Because I've been asked about my tattoos, and I can't. That's the other reason why I wanted to get it finished, because that's the only thing I've been asked. Because I walk through airports and I get all the time, and I've been asked several times. One asked me if this was a satanic thing, and I had to explain to him, no,
You should have said
no. I've had people that recognize it come up and say congratulations, or they say Bill, you're a friend of Bill's, or anything like that. But what's the best one is the ones that come up and ask me, what is that? And I have an opportunity to explain to them what it is, and have a chance to tell my story, because everything on this arm from the very beginning has been my story of
You
sobriety.
tell me I'm allergic to alcohol. I break out in handcuffs.
well, you're lucky, because when I got that big old skull tattooed on my neck, people were wanting to know if I was going through a midlife crisis.
Oh, I had a 52, 53 years old as I got that first tattoo, because that was I got this one on my first birthday, and then these were done on my second one, and
So I'm gonna finish a little bit real quick.
okay,
So,
hit me.
like I was saying to the listeners, I mean, if you want to get sober, get sober. I waited till my wife left, and I think that's the hardest way. Some days I wish I would have just got a DUI,
Right.
other than the pain and the crying and the emotion that I went through. But I'm not saying it would be easier. I mean, Larry knows a little bit more about it because his family was still around, but it might have been harder. But to me, sometimes I felt like I needed my wife to be my cheerleader, and I didn't have that. The only person I had was me, and then the guys I found that surrounded me
Right.
to be my cheerleader through that, to tell me I could do this, and then just to see them, how happy they were and how good life was. I mean, they're still going through problems. Fucking Rob went through cancer,
Right.
sober, but went through cancer, but he knew how to deal with it,
Tools.
Yeah, he knew how to deal with it without drinking. I know there's a lot of people out there suffering, a lot of people, and it's crazy. When I took alcohol out of my life, they say it only takes 4 days to get sober, but a couple months into all those problems I had, they just kind of slowly dissolved away. Like half of that shit I was just carrying with me for no reason. Like you see people talking about all this and that. It's like, just quit drinking and watch it go away.
Right.
It'll fucking
Right.
go away. And then you can start working on who you want to be.
Yeah. You have
You
a
know?
choice.
I have a lot to work to do. I didn't know how much work I had to do too. That night I probably cried more than I've ever cried.
By yourself.
Yeah, by myself.
Mm.
So here I am in my house by myself with
Bawling.
the dog crying. And I think she left the bottle there. There was like a half a bottle of big bottle, gallon of JD, Jack Daniels. I
No
was just
Rob.
sitting there just processing, what the fuck am I gonna do as I'm drinking shots. For some reason I just kept pouring shots and drinking them. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna show her how much she means to
Oh
me.
boy.
I bust out my phone, make a video. Still haven't watched it to this day. Make the video, and then there's still quite a bit in this bottle. I was like, I'm done. And I videoed and I poured the rest of it out. I was like, I ain't gonna do this anymore. And I haven't
Had a drink since.
had a drink since. 900 days. I haven't had a drink since. And then,
You never sent that video to her.
yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
I made it a
Oh, did
point.
you?
I don't make something and not
He's
send
he's
it.
never
Oh,
watched it.
you never.
I
watched
never
it.
watched it.
Oh, oh.
Oh, she sent it.
Oh,
So-
it was a pain in the ass. I had to send in a bunch of clips, make her down WhatsApp.
No. This is so I'm in my new house and he's telling me he's getting sober and I'm so mad. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I move out and then you're gonna decide to get
Right.
sober? Like, so it's like, I think it's only day 3. This is why I was wondering when you
fast.
guys connected.
Mm.
And he calls me, it's like 10 o'clock at night. He's gone to AA. I know he has. And he calls me and he's like, I made this video. We're going to get back together. And I'm like, fuck you. And then he starts saying, "You're
Not as polite as that. Just so
no,"
you
and
know.
he's like, "You're such
I know
an
you better, Brad.
like ungrateful bitch," and he was just going off, and I'm like, "Okay, this is
That's
perfect."
gonna win her back.
I was like, "This is perfect. You just validated why I moved out. This is great." And then he's like, "No, I'm going to send you a video, and I want you to watch it." And so I said, "Okay." So he sends this video through WhatsApp. And I mean, he is annihilated. And I can tell that he is.
I think I had my shirt off.
And
Hell yeah.
Well, this was after leaving that meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This, he
Okay.
was
This is my final.
This
That
is
was the
final.
final.
and he
But never delete that video, by the way.
No.
and he just and in the video he's pouring
Pour out the last. We
But it
don't
was a
know this.
long video. It wasn't something I could just send in a text message. That's why I had to send it
Yeah,
on
in the
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
It was me pouring my heart out. Drunk.
YouTube, baby.
Oh yeah.
but what was so interesting about the video is that as drunk as he was like, "I'm never gonna drink this again," and he was pouring the Jack Daniels down the sink, and he recorded
It
that.
was devastating.
But
I'm crying right fucking now. That was my drink of choice.
it was such a powerful moment that I didn't realize until later on. And I recently watched it again.
You watched it again. You didn't tell me that.
I think sometimes I just have to remember where we've come from.
Oh, absolutely. Never forget that. That's so important.
And so it's so interesting that something I was so angry about for the longest time, I can go back and watch and be so grateful that that was the last time he drank.
After you got done watched, not this time, but the first time, did you believe him?
That shit didn't mean nothing to her the first
Right.
time.
No, it never does.
What-
That was just a fucking cry for help.
Right.
Just,
But here's
just kissing ass, just trying to make things better.
These next few clips are from the Number 8 is a Bitch episode. Heather talks about the struggles for mental health and how she used alcohol and drugs to self-medicate. She also talks about the joys of motherhood and what AA did for her.
Think like a normal person.
when you were drinking.
Yes. I didn't do it because it was fun. I didn't do it because I enjoyed it. That was never my reason for drinking.
Did it just feel a need?
It quieted the noise in my head.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, the feel.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
we talk, John and I have this thing we talk about all the time, the 14 voices in our heads. Every one of them is a different personality. My 14 voices are my internal committee. They talk to me.
Shitty committee.
Yes.
Sometimes
Some of them are quite lovely. They can stick around. We have pleasant conversations. The world is good. There are others who are just downright nasty, and they can go jump off a bridge, and they never do. But the alcohol quieted the committee.
Yep.
And so I could function and think and react to things in what I viewed as normal.
Amen. Yep.
Right? That continued pretty much throughout most of high school. By the time I got to the end of my high school days, I was a full-blown alcoholic. Like, I carried a gallon of tequila in the back of my truck at all times. I was going through a handle of tequila every 1 to 2 days.
Wow.
That was just to maintain.
You're just functioning.
Yes. So
Spirit animals here, babe.
right.
I'm
so
just telling you.
The other thing.
That's how I had to. That's how I was.
Right.
my
So
God.
I had
the
it.
other.
She just got there faster than
Yes,
us.
she did.
Yes. So I'm really good at if I'm going to do something,
White
I
tequila,
don't do
though.
anything by half measures.
Tequila.
So this is another genetic trait in our family. So the women in our family all have a really huge like for tequila. We drink it really, really well, and we do not get hangovers.
Nice.
So there was also never any consequences to my drinking.
Well,
I didn't feel
that's
sick.
dangerous.
I never got sick while
Never
I
got
was
in trouble?
drinking. No. There is a whole lot of stuff still on my yet list.
Good.
It
By the
should
grace
stay
of God,
there.
it'll
Right.
stay there,
Yeah.
but there is a whole lot of stuff on my yet list. So going through, getting towards the end of high school, still drinking, still functioning like a normal person, getting straight A's in school, doing well, still riding my horses, still doing all of those things with no consequences.
Would you go to school after drinking?
What's that?
Would you go to school after drinking? Would you drink before you went to school?
Oh, I drank all day.
Okay, so thank you. That's what I was just
Yeah,
clarifying.
yeah. And that was the other weird part for me is like I would wake up in the morning and I never had the shakes. I never dealt with any of those pieces.
Wow.
There was no DTs, there was no shakes, there was no jitters, there was no nothing.
Wow.
It was simply just to quiet the noise.
There was just the next drink.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It was no different than somebody who sips on a bottle of water all day.
Right. Medicine.
It was just what I did. When I got to about 17, 18 is when I started progressing to things outside of alcohol. Started with just weed. And for me, it had a slightly opposite effect to most people, I found.
You didn't get the munchies?
I didn't really get the munchies. It did not make me tired or lethargic or calm. It focused me. I didn't get the hyper piece to it. It just super focused things. And so it helped to combat some of the fuzzy from the alcohol because I was now having to drink so much to quiet the noise. So it helped to balance things. By this point, everything, my nickname was Roller Coaster.
Oh, shit.
Everything was trying to balance the highs and the lows. You know, there were several different medication changes that took place in that first several years.
And that in itself is a challenge.
It was.
Right.
It reminds me of
I've
watching my
been-
sister, a guy diagnosed with epilepsy at 17.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what was going on with her.
Right.
Then having her, because we didn't understand that. My dad, I don't know if
Yeah.
he ever did understand it, or it was tough.
Yeah, it's not easy. And my mental health being what it is, I don't know if this happens with other individuals. I couldn't tell you, but it takes about a week, and you'll know if that med is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Because
You didn't figure that out the first couple of times. You had to figure it out after different ones. Okay, then you would,
so basically,
know it's going to take a week. Wow.
that
That could be a week of hell. That could be a week of joy.
I used to get told when I would switch medicine, it would take 2 to 3 months. Right.
And for some people, it
Right.
does take a little longer. For me, not so much. I was on one medication day 4. I went into a manic spike. I don't remember the next 3 days. I was told that I went to work. I went to school. I picked up my son from my parents. I had him for the weekend. I took him back to my parents because at this point, I had him every other weekend.
Obviously, you must have been a decent human being at the time. To everybody, not even knowing.
Apparently so.
Wow.
Yeah. I was functioning. I was answering questions. I was doing my job. I have no memory.
Almost like being in a
any
good
of it.
blackout.
Kinda. In fact, that was
There is a good blackout.
We're not doing
was-
any damage. I mean, come on.
that was one of the only ones I ever had as far as blackouts. I never had blackouts when I was drinking or using. Only in a severe manic episode, and it was terrifying to know that I was driving around town with my son in my car, and I have no idea what I did or where I went.
That's crazy.
Things like that. One of them, they obviously took me off of that medication. They put me on a different one. And within 5 days, I was found locked in the bathroom in the dark, playing with pocket knives with the floor covered in blood.
Wow.
Because I had swung that far, that fast.
Well, you got to come off the one and
into a depressive
find out what this one
cycle.
does. Wow.
So, I luckily didn't have to try very many,
That had to take. Sorry.
but it was very fast.
That had to take your mom and dad and throw them backwards to see that. to go through that. Or were they prepared for that?
How can you prepare for that?
Well,
I
I mean,
think-
I know what you mean because they've been through a
Right.
lot already.
right.
At this point, some of the more severe pieces they weren't seeing because I didn't live
Gotcha.
at home.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. So they know about it. I've talked to them about it. I've been honest with them about all of it,
Right.
even at the times that it was happening. I can't imagine what it felt like for them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can imagine. I have kids,
You have a
right?
child. Yeah. You have more than one?
So I have one.
Okay.
Between us, we have 5. So, it was a rough go in the beginning. It was. It took me till about the 2-year mark before I got really good and stable on my meds. The one that I'm on now, I've been on for, 14, 15 years. It was actually the medication that they started me on when I first hit SRC,
Which is
the Seroquel.
there you go.
I was on
And
that for a
and
little
then
while.
we went back to it because the other ones that they tried to put me on were not great.
But now, as
And
you
then it was
age,
just
is it
adjusting
gonna,
doses.
because as the body changes,
Sure. So what I have found to this point, as I've gotten older, as I've been on it longer, the dosage needed has become less and less.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
You know, I'm now on a dose that is so low that they consider it barely a therapeutic dose.
Wow.
Even better.
The only downside to it is because I am on such a small dose, the half-life on it is really small.
Really, yeah, sure.
So if I screw up and I forget to take my meds that night, by the
John, look
afternoon
out.
of the next day, things are starting to get funky. Like, you can tell I'm off.
I could literally sit here for hours and listen to you speak, Heather. I really could. I would
This
like
one
to
and
get
Rachel's so refreshing. On the same one.
Well, here's what let's do this. I would love to get you and Rachel back on the same one, right?
Like in person, though.
Yes, in person. Rachel, Rachel, damn it. Heather, you are an incredible woman. I really.
I'm pretty fucking lucky. Both of you are. I mean, you're good people. I mean, it's good people are hard to find.
You know,
and you
for
found
what,
each other.
What
Yes.
you fought through
Thank
to
God.
what you have fought through to
Say
get
that
where
again?
you're at.
I said, thank God.
That's right. He
What
got
you
us in
have
the middle.
Fought through to get to where you're at mentally. I feel like, my struggle was minute compared to what you went through.
Hold on, but don't minimize.
No, I'm not minimizing mine. I struggled for me. but
Everybody's a little different.
Yes.
Everybody's
and it's
different.
just, and it's just incredible. And there's so many more people. And this is why, once again, I do this podcast, or why Rob and I do this podcast, is I just want people to hear these stories and know there's hope, right? There's fucking hope.
More than just hope.
Don't stop, man. Find something. And you said it, and
Oh,
I
hey.
say it all the time. There's something's got to reverse that darkness, right? For you, it was your bare feet in that ground and laying there. You were grounded. That reversed it. That one person did something for you. The one that did something for me. It just something that had to reverse that darkness to where you go, oh my God, I saw that light. I want to go to that. I want more of that, right?
Right.
And on top of that, you got this sobriety thing, and then you got into the family of AA. And I want to preference this a little bit. Listen, what you went through with the sponsors and what you went through, that's not typical of AA.
No.
That's not. That's not our family. That is not. That is some piece of shit that
That's
got
wood chipper
involved
material,
yeah,
to be quite
that,
honest.
that got involved somewhere where they don't belong. And, it happens from time to time, but you were smart enough to get the fuck away from it, right? I would love to see you start your own AA group. I honestly, Heather, I'm going to continue to
Or
follow up.
find a different home group.
I would
and
love
contribute
for you
in that
to
way, because you have to
contribute to
It's
your,
too powerful not to share that
you
story.
have so much to give into this thing, and not contributing to that. I'm going to take it back to this. Rob says, "Don't be," and I'm going to be kind of a dick right now,
By
but
all means.
you're being selfish by not being involved, right? Because there's people that need you. There's people that need you. And I don't let the pieces of shit that ran you away from it keep you away from giving back to somebody that could possibly, you can be that trigger in their mind. You can be that little bit of something that reverses their darkness. That's why I do this, right?
It's kind of why we're here today.
Right. And just whatever I can do to help. You want to come back on here any given time. You have guests you want on here, whatever you need. Rob and I are here to help you facilitate anybody you want to come on and speak. I will guarantee you our listeners would love to hear more from you. I mean, like I said,
if they don't, I don't matter. I like to hear it. And have her and Rachel as that dynamic would be great.
I mean, that's it. Yeah. Anyways, I don't even know how to shut
Recovery
this one
Unfiltered podcast at gmail.com.
Well, here's the last thing I'm going to say. We have somebody in Germany that keeps listening, and I don't know if they're English speaking or not, but please reach out to me.
I don't speak German. I'd say something.
I would love
German.
to make sure that they're getting the help they need. And anybody that's needed wants to reach out to Heather, please call me or email me at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. That's recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. Heather, I adore you. Your strength is incredible. That was 2 hours that I could do over and over again just to listen. I can't even tell you last time I shut up that long.
Brother,
Neither can we.
neither can we.
Well, I don't do any
Probably
of it
when you were
alone.
sleeping.
What's that?
Said I don't do any day of it alone.
No, and I know you don't. I mean, you have the help. And you know what? That's why I'm sure you get this from John. I'm sure you're getting it from other people, but you're getting it from a complete stranger. You're a very encouraging person. You're very strong. And I would love to see you use that.
These next few clips are with a couple of my favorite people. Jason and Kim talk about their no matter what relationship and being in the now. It truly changed the way I look at life.
So let me start by telling my story as a child. Grew up in a middle-class family. Parents struggled with their marriage and eventually got divorced. I was pretty much the man of the house. I had an older sister. I ended up staying with my mom and my sister. In my childhood, I got
How much older is your sister?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old were you when that happened?
So when they got divorced.
Divorce, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was right around 14.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Hell of an age to be the man of the house.
well, exactly, right?
Right.
You know, but that had been ongoing. That had been from like age 6 till then.
A little closer.
Okay. That had been 6 to 14 that I was dealing with this broken marriage.
Mm.
And throughout that time, you know, for whatever reasons, I had a pretty rough childhood with my dad. My dad took a lot of things out on me. So literally on a daily basis, I got beat, you know, and the older I got, the heavier the beatings were. And I like to say this because, again, this is not the poor me.
Right.
We all had a poor me, and it's important not to throw that away. We've got to discuss it. We've got
But
to
it
talk about it.
matters.
We got to
yeah.
we got to put it out there, right?
Was your dad a drinker though?
He was not a
Okay.
drinker,
That's yeah.
but his dad
Okay.
was a raging alcoholic
Okay.
and beat every one of his siblings and his
Wow.
mother, right?
Okay.
So he grew up in an alcoholic household. He was
Gotcha.
also an immigrant, right? He wasn't born in this country.
Your dad or
My-
your grandpa?
My dad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So my dad came over at 5 years old from Malta. The family fluently speaks Maltese, you know, so immigrant family.
You too?
No.
Do you fluently speak Maltese?
No,
Oh.
no. Weird thing. He never really wanted to share that.
Really?
You know, he was, and you could kind of understand that,
Mhm.
you know, coming over, being an outsider or from a
Right.
different country, you kind of want to fit in. So you don't really want that part of your past.
Right.
So he kind of shut the door on it.
Okay.
But anyway,
I'll tell you a story later on that ties me and Jason together. Like
yeah.
that.
So let's see, try to stay on track with that. I got beat.
It's going to be
down.
hard to stay on track with Rob and I. I'm just
No, that's good. I encourage it because it'll help me get through. Yeah. So again, I don't want to say my childhood was horrible because I had a lot of really good things as
Right.
well. Like you know, it was important for my family to do family activities. Like we were at the lake. We actually had a 78 Ford F-250 with a cab over camper. Come on. You know, we left it at the lake year round. That was our RV, right? So we'd just take the boat up and we'd camp and we would ski. I had a lot of opportunities for hunting and fishing as a kid. So there was a lot of good things as well. I also was able to show cattle and hogs at County Fair, State Fair, Cow Palace. I mean, that took a huge financial commitment from my parents. I did that for 5 years.
Where'd you grow up at?
Wood Colony area.
Okay, yeah.
So on the
yeah,
other,
yeah.
over by the
Right.
mall.
Yep.
Yeah. Kim and I both went to Heart Ransom.
Gotcha. Yep.
So anyway, there was a lot of good to it, but you know, dealing with that part of my childhood, it affected me.
Oh yeah.
You know, not only the getting beat daily. My dad beat me so hard. He had a watch band that would flip back and hit his arm. It hurt him so much he'd have to stop the beatings to take his watch off to start beating me again.
It gave you a chance to run.
Yeah. No, what happened is I got a thickened hide.
Right.
And I just didn't cry no more.
Right.
And that's when he knew there was a problem.
Yeah.
So anyway, getting through that, it's important for me to acknowledge that because I didn't think it really affected me. I didn't think, you know, the beatings affected me. I didn't think the divorce affected me. Right. But as we get older and
Oh, it
start
does.
acknowledging
Yeah, yeah.
things, when it was
Oh,
my
yes,
life,
It does.
you know? So anyway, there was good and bad in my childhood, just like a lot of people's stories that you hear.
That's what I was getting back to on the whole why I went down that, because when I got to spend that time with Jason and how
that to go from the hell that state of depression, let's go all the way back where Jason was talking about eating a bullet, right?
Yep.
To
It's
that,
Yeah.
right?
It's amazing.
To that.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Right. All the work that you do at work building homes doesn't even remotely come close to the amount of work you put in
Well said.
mentally to get to that.
100%. You're right.
So anybody struggling, thinking that it's just going to magically disappear, it ain't going to magically disappear.
How many years
No,
was that?
no,
How
but
many
the,
years?
but the good takeaway is there's hope.
That's,
it can happen.
That's what I was
It will
getting
happen.
at, Jason.
It will
That-
happen. If
That's what I was getting to, Jason. That's what I was getting to. No, if you put in the work, what comes at the end is a hiking trip with a beautiful woman that you get in and wake up at a wood lake and celebrate that moment together, right?
But what
That
you're
moment.
celebrating really is the journey up to that
Yeah,
point.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
right.
you
What-
appreciate.
And that's where
journey.
Jason said when he
Yeah.
come out, he got emotional about it. I remember Jason and I talking about how emotional he was. Even when we were talking about it up there, he was still talking about it emotionally. I could hear it in his voice.
Well,
it was still very emotional.
there's a lot to it. And, for somebody listening, they may be like, well, that's just crazy. I don't want to go hiking. That's too much,
But you will want to do something.
physical
Yeah, you
effort
will.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, like, the way that this program is designed, it's about working on yourself.
Right.
And being in the now.
Right.
Right
that
now.
Eckhart Tolle, I highly recommend that guy, because being in the now, when you're backpacking, or maybe you're just going for a morning run,
Mm-hmm.
you are in the now
Right.
at those moments, because you are one step in front, or one step to the next step,
Right.
to the next
Right.
step, and you are physically potentially hurting,
Right.
but you're thinking about what you are doing right. You are 100% in the now. And to be where I was,
Mm-hmm.
completely opposite of being in the now, to being in the now for a 40-mile trip the whole time. I mean, there's moments when we talk,
Right.
but
It's
90% of it is we're
grinding.
taking in
Oh,
nature.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, there is we live right here below Yosemite.
Right.
Like, we are
Right.
right on the border of
Right.
Yosemite.
Right.
It's the most beautiful area
Amen.
you could ever imagine.
Right.
And being in the now.
But how much
Again.
Jason did when you came into AA and you heard one day at a time, one day at a time,
Right.
sometimes one moment at a time,
Right.
to being in the now. That's our whole existence.
Yeah.
And and that's the biggest thing, right? We have said that in multiple different ways. And the other night got a chance my grandson went to a football game with me, and I was coaching on the sidelines, and I just looked down the sideline, and I see my grandson as we're getting ready to score. He was just elated. At that point, I didn't give a shit what was going on the football field. I was watching him.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it
we-
was just
and we
I
would
can
have missed
understand
that.
right.
Yeah.
The old us in our drinking, even if we were standing on the same sidelines,
Right.
we would have not
That's
appreciated
why I
it. We
sent
would
you
have
guys the picture of him. And I
Oh, it
said,
was awesome. I knew
was
exactly what you
one drink away from missing this. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible. It was awesome.
Yeah.
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 But that's what you talk about being in the now, right?
Yeah.
Anything I do now, anything I try is that, right? I want to be with Katie here. I want to be with my daughter here. I want to be present, right? We were present prior, but our minds were somewhere else trying to figure out where the next drink was coming from, or how I was going to get the next drink, or if I had to hide
mentally
it.
present, not physically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now,
Different things.
now to be, I was sitting downstairs with my daughter yesterday, Miranda, and Katie and McKenna were upstairs doing something. And I just looked over and I just said, I love you. And she was like, I think she was a little taken back. And I just had that moment with her. I would have never had that anytime. I had a moment. I wanted to say, I love you. Right.
little God shots.
Right. And it was just, I love you. I love you too.
So what did you what in this decision, Jason? What did you decide to do? What was going to be your course of action, and how did you come about that?
Don't know how I came about it, other than I was in the now. I was in the
Mhm.
moment at that moment, and Kim uses that word a lot.
Well, no, yeah, Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I just knew that I needed him to help me, and that I needed to get through that weekend, and that after that weekend, I needed to approach my boss. I needed to tell him that I have a problem and I need help, and that I needed to make a decision of how I was going to get that help. But I knew whatever help I got, and I mentioned this from day one, my boss even questioned me on it. I knew that I had to have a faith-based program.
Mm-hmm.
And I said those terms, and my boss said, "What does that mean?" You know? And so what I did do is I had the most miserable weekend because your mind is just reeling, right?
Detox.
Just
Going.
detoxing,
Mm-hmm.
incredible thoughts of
You're right.
deep anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Again, didn't know.
Sweats.
I didn't know at this point in time. It wasn't that I made this decision and said, okay, everything's going to be better.
No.
At this point in time, my decision was, I'm probably going to lose my wife. I'm probably going to lose my job. It doesn't matter because I'm so far gone. I need to fix myself.
That a boy.
I didn't know if I was going to
Deal.
lose all my friends. We've all had these thoughts, right?
Yep.
That was at that point,
Yep.
but I knew that I needed to work on it. And so once I got through the weekend, I did. I met with my boss. I told him. I broke down. I said I needed help. They came to me with open arms, gave me a big hug, said, "We're going to get you through this. How do you want to approach it?" They kind of gave me a little coaching on the side and said, "I think you could do it on your own. But if you want to go to a program, we're here for you. We've got it. It's all laid out right here. You just tell us which way you want to go."
Wow.
So then I decided that I wanted to go to a faith-based therapist. I never answered your question, Larry. Did I know anything about AA?
Yeah.
I had briefly heard about it, but I didn't know about it. I knew about 12. I heard 12 steps. I heard of AA, but I never knew that there was a program. I didn't.
Faith-based.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
Right.
I didn't know. So come to find out, we got a therapist right there in town. That's a pastor that everybody knows that is one of us.
Mhm.
And he directed me down that road. I had 10 sessions with him, just getting out everything, and every meeting that we would have, he highly recommended reaching out and going to meetings and,
AA meetings.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then it started, then from there, it was, as you say, we're checkmark guys.
Right.
I
For
walked
sure.
into the room, sat down, I
Now,
saw the 12 steps. I'm
so-
like, oh, baby.
So
Right
the
up
first
my
day,
alley.
the first day you walked in the room and saw those, was that the day I was chairing that meeting? Was that the same day?
No,
Okay.
no, you didn't come in until I had been going for, I think you came in on third or fourth day,
Okay.
because I had been talking, and they were talking about this Rob guy that would sponsor me probably.
This hobbit.
Yeah.
This little fucking hobbit.
Anyway,
He's only 2 inches taller.
hey, I never even put 2 and 2 together.
Oh,
But
really?
when you walked
So,
through the
okay,
door and I saw your smile, I went, oh shit.
Why
there
did I
he
say I
is.
never
There's
heard
my
this
brother.
part? I never heard this part.
Yeah.
That people were already giving
Yeah.
you my name.
So anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell.
These last few clip are with my cousin Laurel. She was here for Thanksgiving and agreed to come into the studio to talk about her mental health struggles. This was also one of those times I called Rob and he showed up within 30 minutes to record. This one ended up being one of Rob's favorite episodes. Thank you, Laurel. Love you.
I had to write a paper on some medical subject, and I said, you know what? My dad's an alcoholic. Let's learn what this means.
Here's the thing
And
about
I'm going to tell you, Larry. Let me share you it's kind of a funny story, because to me, but they said you can have anonymous people talk in your paper, and I'm like, this is great. So every time I needed to fill something in on my paper, I would just write something that I felt.
Oh, perfect.
That's funny.
Perfect.
But it just, I guess that's the difference. I had no idea what Alcoholics Anonymous was until I never even heard of it till I got later on in life. I mean,
when I was young, because my grandfather's the one that died, they found his bones in New Mexico. Yeah.
No,
So he went to Maynard's when it first opened. So I knew, and I was a little kid, go visit him. He never stayed sober. So I kind of knew, but I didn't understand what it was, because it didn't help him.
yeah.
so how do you feel like, how did you know about AA at such a young age?
Again, I grew up watching my brothers, my sisters,
Okay.
my dad, and my uncles. Everybody was always drinking in my house. We were always the life of the party. We always had parties at my house.
Understand, but did you about the AA? I mean, like I said, everybody in my family was always drinking.
She didn't say anything about AA. She said she wrote a paper on alcoholism.
Okay.
I wrote about alcoholisms. I wrote about codependence. I wanted
Okay.
to understand.
Okay.
It was my
That makes
way
more
of
sense.
trying to accept my reality,
Right.
is to learn about it. The way my brain worked.
Which
So
is
you-
super smart.
Absolutely. So you weren't drinking at all.
No, I
You
mean,
didn't have the high school run-ins.
the occasional. I mean,
Right.
but I had rules.
That's
Let's hear him.
Yeah, this is what I wanted her to get to right here.
Okay, so after reading this paper, and I started, it defined alcoholics in different ways that you're an alcoholic. And this paper that I remember from years ago was, one of them is you drink to excess. One of them is you drink to get, you drink alone. I want to say, and the third one was my own personal one, just based on my childhood one. So I never drink alone. I just don't go home and have a beer. There's no reason for it. I only drink socially. I don't drink to excess. There's no point for it. I've always got a bottle of water sitting next to me. And the third one was I don't embarrass my kids, because I grew up being embarrassed a lot. So we did not have birthday parties ever where there were alcohol there. It wasn't allowed. And some people are like, why, Laurel? I said, because I'm not taking a chance.
My wife did the same thing.
My kids will not be embarrassed by me.
Wow.
Oh.
That's but I don't know why I'm still stuck on you writing a paper on that in high school. I think for the simple fact, I go back to my selfish ass, right? I'm like, why on the I didn't give a fuck. I was drinking like crazy in high school. So to write a paper on alcoholism in high school is, to me, is thinking outside. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to me, that's very mature for a 16-year-old.
Right.
Grown up in that environment. She wants to understand the environment that she's in. It's affected her so much.
Right. Because
let me understand it better.
Right.
Let me understand my
How
father.
much older
he's not
was
going
your,
to tell me.
Right. How much older was your brothers?
So I'm the youngest of 8 kids. So
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Wow. All the same mom and dad?
yeah, my little sister's actually younger than me. You want to hear a crazy fact?
Did you just hear what you just said?
Huh?
My little sister's younger than me.
Well, she is. So there's that.
You know, Scotty.
I didn't say nothing.
Scott,
I got the bird. I didn't say
I
nothing.
need Scotty to be up here for that one.
He'd be like, duh.
I wanted Scotty to sit across.
Well, she's
from her.
also shorter than me.
Okay, we'll take it.
Yeah, that's funny. Rob, tell Rob the group therapy stories, because I love what she tells.
Okay, so I was telling her, it was a group therapy. I was in it probably 2 or 3 years. And every time a new person would come in, every single time a new person came in, they would start with, my life is great, if only my husband. And the entire rest of the group would go, ugh.
The victim.
The victim. Oh.
I don't even want to say the victim. It was just the realization that, you're dependence, right? You're making your happiness dependent on someone else. And,
That's
and
why
they hadn't got there yet.
That's why I give them the shit sandwich metaphor. Then, okay, and then they would acknowledge, oh, you're right. Okay, so what part of that sandwich are you making?
Right.
Let's take your husband out of it and pretend your husband's perfect.
Right.
Where are you at fault? And the victim will show up when they'll say, yeah, but. Yes, I did this, but. They'll start saying but. Then I roll my eyes. That's
a parenting 101. I used to tell my kids, you can't apologize with the word but following it. You apologize or you don't. You don't say, I'm sorry, but.
Yeah, you own it or you don't.
Did you ever when you came to a part, Laurel, in your recovery from depression, did you get to a part where they asked you what your part was in any of this? I mean, was that ever a part of your therapy?
It's been years.
Okay.
I can't say for sure.
Well, she said her accountability. She was,
Okay.
I own where I went.
Which is the same thing.
So to that extent, we'll go back to my failed relationship with my husband.
Right.
I mean, we're back together,
right.
but for the first
he's downstairs. They're back together.
I met him. That's why I'm
so for the first 5 years of our separation, everything was his fault because he had the audacity to leave. And now I can look back and go, how did he stay so long? I was a nutcase.
Or drunk.
But most
say it any way you want, right?
Most people don't get that far, right? Because they just want to look and they just want to blame. They don't want to own it, and that's why the next relationship they're in fails. The next relationship they're in, what's the common denominator? You.
I can't imagine how it was for, and maybe get him up or something. I don't know if you will, but what was it like for him to feel that burden of my happiness? Because that's what I was putting on him constantly, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I once
that's
the
heavy.
same thing. I was putting
what a load to carry.
Right, and I was putting the burden of my alcoholism on Katie. I mean, thank God for Laurel, because when I went into recovery,
Unfiltered, baby.
Yeah, Laura was the one that kept Katie together. So,
told you you're a good woman.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and just so when this goes out, I need to know when this because this episode's fucking going out.
Right. No, I'm not doing this. Not doing this for not.
No, but we had talked about.
Well, I even told Laurel if it doesn't go anywhere, we won't let it go.
But if it does go out, if she
it will.
There's two. One being my wife, but there's a few women I want to hear this. Right. This is so good. I do would be one of the best.
Yeah, and I've wanted to get. Laurel, I've said this from the very beginning. I wanted you here because you brought that depression side of it. And here's the thing I love about it. She recovers out loud with her depression, same way I recover out loud with my alcoholism.
And what she got with her therapy and with finding a good therapist. And here's something I want to say, like what I did with cancer. I was my own advocate.
Yeah.
Because this showed up a year before. And then met my wife. But you were your own advocate. You didn't state, well, this is my therapist. Go find, if one's not working, if someone just wants to shove pills down you, go find something else. But sometimes medication, like you said, does help.
Right.
But be your own advocate. Don't settle.
Oh, for sure.
Don't settle.
Right. Yeah.
But what we found in this, you've also done. I mean, the same steps you take, the same way
I hear it all the time. That's one of the reasons I enjoy your podcast so much. Is I resonate with it so often. I haven't done all your steps. I don't know what they are.
But you're owning it, and you recognize, and you don't.
Right.
You don't settle.
And I think that's one thing, and Jenny said it too, right? She hasn't literally sat down and walked through these steps, but I mean, where she's at, she's done the steps, right? And I mean, we could sit here and banter back and forth, well, and some hardcore AA guys are going to say, well, she didn't do the steps, right? But
she also is not what I would say. This is just my. She didn't hit the bottom. The bottom came up and hit her.
Right.
Her and Jason met, and she's like. He was like, she saw it. I'm headed that way.
Right.
So let's, like that hard drinker who can stop or moderate, given sufficient motivation. There you go.
Right.
Awesome. And she's living these principles.
And she's living.
She's walking these principles. No, she didn't do the steps as we did, but she's living the principles, much like.
Right. Yeah.
You're crazy.
Did you? I mean, obviously, I know the answer to this, but how often did your anxiety and your depression make you feel like you're having that heart attack where your anxiety is just so bad?
Don't think I ever felt heart attack.
Wow. Okay.
But it was just complete shutdown. I mean,
see, that's opposite.
There were days when I was just in a ball, and I you know how much I love my kids.
Yeah,
Larry. You know they are my life,
Absolutely.
and there were days when I was not functioning as a parent, and I just couldn't pull myself out of it. So again, I have to go back to that unanswered prayer, that last pregnancy, and just spending 3 days a week for probably 2 years in therapy, just actually dealing with my issues, finding out what they are, and getting help.
Yeah.
And Jamie is a kick in the ass too. If you ever get around him.
That one.
How old is Jamie? Huh? How old is Jamie?
He's 24.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah, so I mean, the way you talk about your depression is the way we handle our.
The way she has dealt with it is, and the way we deal with ours is this.
And we've said it so many times that this book, the way we do things, you change any it's isms, right? It's our isms of what we do. Anybody could go through these steps, but you know what? And Jenny said it when she was here. It's just being a natural human being, right? But. We
try to be the best version of a human being is what it is, and I fail,
right?
And that's why my happiness is not tied to, like you talked about, as far as being depressed,
right?
My happiness is not tied to my success because I'm going to fail. I try not to fail the same ways I did here, and I don't. But so my happiness is just tied to being awake,
right. And my sobriety is tied to my serenity that I keep, right? I know that I'll never dream. I mean, I have some very anxious moments, especially with the job change and everything else. I mean, I'm not sleeping at all because I up in my office typing reports, or I'm reading reports.
But isn't that a different kind of anxiety that we used to feel?
So it's not, but understand this, it's not an anxiety though, right?
Okay.
It's not an anxiety because in my mind, and I was just telling somebody this, and Laurel, you may have this, right? For me to keep my anxiety away and to keep my depression away, I got to keep this thing above my ears busy. When that thing above my ears starts get into idle mode, it's not a good place for me.
Eventually, you'll be able to just.
Eventually, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, and when I get to the, but even in that, even in those high thought process moments, the anxiety, the peace that I have inside me is incredible, right? And what I have so differently now with this job that I didn't have, because basically I'm doing the same thing I was doing when I was drinking. I had the same job title, but now I'm able to control. Let me rephrase that. I'm able to function without that anxiety ridden inside of me. So I'm not biting people's heads off. I'm not demanding. I'm leading, right? I'm leading, not managing. That's a big one for me. So those are things that are just so much better for me. And it's because everything's firing for me, right? So for me now is I want people to be successful based off of what I'm able to teach them, right? Not what I tell them to do, right? To watch somebody be successful from what I teach them is incredible. That's what keeps his brain happy. So when I say I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm not sleeping, that's it, right? I'm writing reports. I'm trying to help other people out. Now, will that subside? Absolutely, it will.
It will. Vincent.
It will, because.
But you know what I'm talking about? That alcoholic fear that Pat talks about, just that overwhelming sense of fear that would come on like out of nowhere,
right?
Or depression, or anxiety, but not so much depression. It'd be anxiety and fear.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to reach out, you can reach us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.